Welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast, where our mission is to help you heal yourself so you can heal the world. Hi, my name is Noah Crane. Each week, we will bring you tips and tools and inspire you to live your most empowered and joyful life. I'm also the founder of the 3G Effect Mindset, a daily practice that reminds you to do three important actions every day by staying heart-centered in everything you do. Number one, have a grateful heart and connect to your gratitude every day. When you are connected to your gratitude, you're able to connect to positive emotions and eliminate those negative feelings that don't really serve you. Number two, learn to be grounded in love and compassion. First, love and compassion for yourself. And then learn to share that love and compassion with others. When you're in a place of love and compassion, you're able to release judgments and be in a place of more acceptance, love, and forgiveness, a more peaceful and beautiful place. And number three, know every day that you are guided by God. God is inside you, beside you, and all around you. Learn to open your heart and soul to God. God will send you messages in a way of signs or people, messengers that he sends into your life just for you to help guide you on your journey. So learn to have faith and trust in yourself and faith and trust in your journey. Learn to be a good listener because God is always here to support you. By doing these three actions daily, you can shift and change your life and go into a positive attitude and a positive mindset daily of a place of creation and manifesting a life that you truly desire and love. I do that every day, every single day in my life, and I keep seeing the miracles just unfold in my life daily. Just to share with you something that just happened last week was I had a car accident, which was a very scary thing. I didn't see it coming. And I was very shooken up, of course, by the accident. But I also felt such a sense of gratitude that God was protecting me and that I was okay, that I was able to walk away. Even though my car got completely totaled, I was able to walk away and still feel good in my body and in my life. So that gratitude just keeps that energy in your life going, that energy of love, that energy of positivity. Don't we all want more of that in our lives? I know that I do. Today, we're going to be talking about how can we create more the things that we want in our lives? How can we, by being differently or acting differently, how can we attract more things into our life? Are we truly guided? Can we truly be leaders in our lives? You know, how will our lives change when we're able to take that leadership role? I have an incredible guest today that I'm very excited about. Sahar Nafar is a transformational leader, guidance mentor, and speaker. She offers energetic healing for people to help them to connect to those things that they truly desire by helping them shift and change themselves and their lives. Her gifts of intuition has helped thousands of people over the last 15 years to be able to expand, evolve, and achieve more inner peace and balance by altering the old ways of doing into new ways of being. Sahar Nafar, welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast.
Thank you, dear beautiful friend Noah, for your invitation this morning. Thank you. I look forward to use my inspiration that you give me and you give others to share my wisdom with you all today.
Thank you, Sahar. And you do so many incredible things. I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start by asking you, when did you know that you had a gift? And maybe you could just go back and tell us a little bit about yourself and how this whole thing came about, because you truly are gifted.
Thank you very much. You know, I am someone who is very clear that my soul has made a commitment here on earth to create transformation in our planet. I've always known that as far as I could remember. I grew up in a Christian family from the Holy Land, and I was taught that if we pray to Jesus and to Mary, that whatever it is that we want will come into fruition, that we have to always pray. So at a very young age, I grabbed that what I've learned from the Christianity from my mom and from my dad who used to read the Bible to us. And I thought, if I could just pray, I will get whatever it is that I want. And so that was the beginning of me learning about there is something greater, there is something more than just us humans, that physical body. There's something beyond. And that curiosity continued as I grew up and I became, more and more aware of what is happening in the universe, what is happening above, what is happening below. I began to explore, and my curiosity led me to years and years and years of learning and studying different modalities, learning about human interaction, emotions, mental, physical, spiritual, everything you could ever imagine. And with that, in addition to me learning the teachings, I also had to experience all that is happening to me here on earth, all the suffering, the pain, the growth, of course, the divorce, the everything that you could ever imagine that would happen to a human being. I have pretty much experienced, and it all began when I left an abusive relationship of 18 years. I'm no longer the victim, but I'm the victor of this experience where I grew to become more compassionate, more loving human being. And we all have stories. The question is, are you using these stories to create more and to love more and to be more compassionate for others rather than staying the victim? And so I've realized, helping thousands of people in the past 15 years or so, a lot of them has still feel the sense of victimhood. And of course, that goes from within, from their inner child, from all the experience that they had. But what I decided to do when I left the marriage, where I had everything, Noah, I had the multi-million dollar home, the boats, the RVs, the traveling all over the world, everything you could ever imagine for material wealth. Both him and I were in real estate. But when I let that go, many things happened. I went through foreclosure, bankruptcy, IRS auditing. We went through, of course, divorce courts, child support courts, and on top of everything, I lost my mother. So within 2 years span, I really was tested. I really was tested in every single aspect. But what happened to me is I continued to evolve, I continued to grow, and I created this small group called the bright side of life as I was living the dark side of life. I made it a metaphor, and every single month in my small family room, we had women coming where I inspired them and supported them as they listened to me. And this small community grew and grew and grew. And within few years, I was doing, events at bigger venues with hundreds of people. And up till now, we probably served over 30 or 40,000 people that have came to my events, whether they're online or in person. So again, it goes back to when you know that you are here and very clear about your calling and why you are here on this earth, what kind of transformation that you're here to create, regardless of what happens to you on your timeline journey. You just know that you're never alone. You're always supported, and find that courage and the compassion for yourself to move forward. And this is just a little bit about my background and story.
What a great story, Sahar. Incredible. How did you find the resilience to get through everything? Like, what would you tell somebody that's going through a hard time? How can they find that resilience to actually grow through their experience rather than to become the victim?
That is a great question. I think number one is accept what is happening to you. Be okay with being the victim. Be okay with crying. Be okay with being angry, being hurt. Be okay with not forgiving. Those part of you need to express themselves. Those part of you need to be share the feelings that within you. Deepak Chopra says, there is a chunk of frozen consciousness. If you suppress your feeling, there's a chunk of frozen consciousness. Unless it thaws, you're saying, I am that pain. And you're walking on earth, you're walking in your life with that pain. So I do believe for you you can't suppress it. Let it express itself. Let it speak. Let it be heard. Let the emotion. So that's the number one. After that, pay attention to how long this will go on, because I have to be honest with you. The first 5 years, I was a victim. He did this to me. I went through this. I went through that. And I noticed that I was speaking of that a lot. Don't go overboard. Give yourself your time. You'll know more than anything how long you could be in that victim space. And Be very mindful of making sure those emotions that needs to be expressed, they are expressed in a very healthy environment. Perhaps you could speak to a life coach or a therapist, or find someone that you trust that holds space for you, right? Or a group of people, as I did. It's not about you going and sharing it with people that might be not as a high frequency or low frequency, because that's going to fuel you even more to hate more, or to judge more, or to stay in that victimhood. And lastly, compassion, compassion, compassion for yourself. I can't even speak enough. I love that your second G is about love and compassion. And this is really what we need to focus on more than anything, with all the things that are happening in the world. We need to still be compassionate, first to ourselves, as you said, and then compassion to the world. But it's not as easy to be compassionate to ourselves. A lot of people feel like compassion is you giving, giving, giving without boundaries. And again, I'll share a little bit more about that. But again, finding the strength. And lastly, no, you're never alone. Trust the process. No, if you are certain that this is what you're supposed to be doing at this time, this is the experiences that you have to be and experience in order for you to evolve and grow. That was the thing that was always going in the back of my mind, that I am loved, I am supported, and I am on my journey, and these only will make me stronger.
I always say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Sahar, how do people, let's go also into grounded. How important is it to be grounded in yourself? Not just love and compassion, but being grounded, right? Being, standing within your power.
Yeah, grounded is one of my favorite words. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see me. I'm grounded every day. In fact, this morning I looked at my clock. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. in the morning, because from 6 to 7 to 8, I don't start my day until 9 a.m., right? I do call them my hours of power. It used to be one. Now I give myself 2.5 hours to 3 hours to really, really work on my compassion. Self-care is compassion, literally. So this morning I woke up, put on my bathing suit, went to the jacuzzi, relaxed for about half an hour, and then I walked on earth. I grounded myself. I earthed. I hugged some trees. I sat under a tree and I quieted my mind. And I told this beautiful body of mine how much I love it, how much I honor it. And thank you, dear soul, for entering this physical body. I pay attention to my emotions every single morning to make sure that I am, the whatever needs to be expressed needs to be expressed. I think of my minds and my thought. Are they quiet enough for me to be able to support those who I'm supposed to be supporting, especially today, this morning, right here, right? I also tune in to my physical body. What do you need to be nurtured? What do you need today? And this morning it was the jacuzzi. This morning it was spending time under a tree and just connecting, rooting myself into earth. Mother Earth loves us so much, and there's so much healing and light and love if we only know the power of earthing. That's what compassion is, merging yourself and embodying yourself with all that is nature, because nature knows more than us human beings. Nature knows how to love. Nature knows how to be compassionate. Nature knows how to connect and be together, that rather than being separate. So spending time in nature is the most delicious thing that you could ever do right now for yourself. If you truly care about who you are, and you truly care that you are here to transform people, the earth, the water, the grounds, the plants, whatever it is that your mission is here on earth, and that you're truly in integrity to do this work, I believe it is so important to ground yourself. Ground, ground, ground.
Great answer. I absolutely love that answer. Thank you, Sahar. Okay, I wanted to ask you about the message that you got in 2020.
Yes. So I was living in Illinois, and I received a message that it was time for me to go home. And I really didn't understand what home meant. And I go, wait, I'm not ready to leave this earth. But home was, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, in the East Coast, in the East Bay. And it was time for me to go. I was living there for about 2.5 years. I had to go and just, up level. I need to leave California after raising my two girls, making sure they both go through college, after all the divorce and what have you. And so after that, it was time for me to go home. And I literally, my lease was over on the 3rd of March, 2020. There are no accidents. I tell you, if you trust the process, the universe is really going to be orchestrated with you. And so I arrived to the Bay Area. And of course, then the news of the pandemic happened. And at the time, I really was given the message um, to leave within a very short span. So within 2 months, I had to ship my car, sell my furniture, put things in storage, ship them to the Bay Area from Midwest Illinois. And so there was a lot that I had to deal with. And again, trusting the process, my cousin at the time had a studio ready for me, furnished, so I could rent until I find a space for me to move into. And in that space, and it was literally, you have to take, like, it was part of the garage, and you have to take deep, steep steps to go under. It was almost like an incubator. And there was no windows, just a little window that leads to the garage. But it was a beautiful studio with lots of light, but not natural light. And I just sat there and I go, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be here. And that was like my space of just really going inwards after the incidents, because what I used to teach and what I used to do was no longer available to me, as many of you have experienced it. And so my income had stopped. And of course, I had the savings I had to live by, but I really got on my knees and I asked Spirit Guide, what can I do right now? What can I do in order for me to get out of this? Of course, a lot of things came up for me. And that was the profound message or the channeling that came through me, that it is time for me to serve. And of course, my ego and my personality said, what do you mean serve? I need to survive here. You're telling me to serve now? I don't know if I have that in me, right? And they said, this is how you're going to move to that next level, and it's for you to serve. And so I began and I asked, what is it that you need me to serve? And they said, you are to gift people sessions. And they are called the soul guidance session. Right now, there's a lot of people that are hurting, and you need to guide them on that path that they have chosen, especially those who are here and leaders, soulful leaders that are committed to transformation. And I thought that was a huge assignment for me. And I said, okay. And they said, 100 souls you are to touch within the next 3 months. They really gave me a very concise and precise assignment, because when I get guidance, it's very, very, very direct. I mean, it's literally very clear, and there are processes and steps. And so I trusted, because I always did. And one of the things that I was thinking is, how the heck am I going to get 100 people? But you know what, Noah? I knew that the 100 people within 3 months will show up, and they did. In fact, I ended up serving 120 people. And up till now, I've served thousands of people. But that's the beginning of the message for me to serve.
Why is it so important to become a leader and help others on the journey? More than ever today, why do you think it's crucial for people to step up into a leadership role?
I love that. My company is called the Soulful Leader Community. And the reason is because us soulful leader who are on the path of evolution and growth on our spiritual path really need to understand and embody that word leader. And leader to me is not just about you leading a community of thousands of people or being an influencer, but first lead yourself. Lead who you are, be in integrity and in congruency with who you are, connecting your inner and outer, right, self together. That's the first part of being a leader. And understanding that leadership is you have to be very responsible, because people are influenced by your leadership. I always say in my little circles or when I do workshops that you could be a mom and a leader in your own household. You could be a leader as a mentor, or coach, or consultant, by leading your clients to a better life. And you can lead groups, and you can lead as somebody who's on stage and speaking. So be very responsible of that term leader, because leaders are those who help people become better human beings and people that are influenced by you. So being a soulful leader, somebody who is on the path of growth, is a big responsibility. Again, we go back to being more aligned with who you are, balancing the masculine and the feminine, making sure that you're all cleared, making sure that you are balanced, your energy center. That's one of the things that I love to do is to help people become more balanced of who they are. But that's what leadership is. It's leading within, so you're able to lead without, in the outside of yourself.
Makes a lot of sense. So, are we all, would you say everybody's a leader in one way or another?
Leadership is a choice, sweetheart. To be honest with you, now you and I surround ourselves with leaders because we are, right? We usually are. Who you look around you, all these amazing people that are leaders, we are in that space and circle of leaders, but not every single soul is made to be a leader. There are those who are here to help us leaders, right? There are those that are here to hold space for us leaders. There are those who are here to pray and send love for us leaders. You know, if you're a leader when you're born with it, and you also know as time goes by if that, calling of being a leader and stepping into your leadership, right? It's time for it. You'll know, there's a knowing.
Why would you say being a victim stops us from being a leader in our lives?
Oh my gosh, you are really good today. I love these questions that you're asking. They're awesome. Um, I don't think victimhood and leadership um, have anything to do with it, believe it or not. We are humans. We have a personality, and our personality uh, creates our personal reality. Noah, you know that our personality, our human part, is going to go through so many tribulations and so many experiences and hardships and pain and wounding and trauma. And there are going to be times that that quote unquote leader within you is going to have to go through this. And there are going to be time to be okay with you being a victim, as I shared before. But again, not staying in that victim space for a long time. No matter what, we cannot be, unless we're Buddha, we cannot be everything and anything as a human, right? That everyone wants us to be. But it's okay. It's okay for us to be in a victimhood for a little bit. Just because you and I were in a space of victimhood, did that diminish our leadership role? No, because we got out of it and we continued to look at the path of leadership rather stay in the victimhood.
Yeah, and I mean more people that like are in victim mode all the time, because we know so many people that are just feel like they're victims, you know? And I think they get in their own way, right? And so one of our biggest challenges in life is to be able to get out of our own way in order to live our best life. And that's not easy. What are some tools you could give people to be able to step into a leadership role and to be able to get past being in their own way?
I'll tell you, first and foremost, we really can't judge people. Every single one of us has their own timeline. And each timeline, there are specific instructions, experiences that we need to go through. Perhaps we might see someone and say, oh, they are in a victim space, which is maybe true. But what we can do is give them more compassion and love and space to grow out of it if they choose not to. And how can you, if they choose not to, then they are not ready. They're not ready to get out of that victim space. And it might need to take a little bit longer than some of us, right? Another point about victimhood is we have to remember that in order for us to move forward to stepping into our leadership role or our soulful leader that we are to create transformation and shifts and change, is we really need to do our inner work, to look within whatever modality, whoever you connected with. There's so many amazing healers and coaches and mentors out there. 100%, I recommend that if you are someone who feels like you're still in a victim space and you cannot get out of it, find your mentor, find your teacher. You could listen to things to get motivated on YouTube if you don't have the means. There are so many free courses online on YouTube. There are no excuses. And for those of you who can find a mentor and a coach and somebody that you trust fully to support you on your journey and find out, why are you still stagnant? Why are you still stuck in this space? And really have a desire to lead, a desire to transform people or anything on this planet. Transform whatever it is that you're guided to do. Find people, find a tribe, find the right teacher and mentor to support you on your journey, and and begin to become more aware of why you're still trapped. There's a little child inside of each and every one of us that have been victimized, that have been hurt, that have been traumatized, and that needs to be to we need to show compassion and love. I've been doing a lot of compassion for parts of me that I may have not yet um, have seen or been in touch with. Not recently. Like I'm very vulnerable and open about my experience here on Earth, because the only way to be, and I have to be totally honest with you. There's a lot of energy that's pushing through Earth. You and I had discussion about that. It's intense energy, and the energy, if we feel it as sensitive empath, it's here to help us clean some of the layers that we have not been able to look at, or we haven't addressed yet, to remove the layers of pain, of wounding, of victimhood, of not forgiving. And just the past 4 months, what I've realized, there is a part of me, like even speaking about it right now, I get a little bit raw on the inside and emotional. The period of time between the ages of 45 till about 55, I am 59 years young. And that part, well, I was going through so many challenges of, after leaving the marriage, raising my girls, going through many hardships, losing my mother. There was a time I didn't have a home to live in. I had to live with friends and family, making sure both of my girls graduate from a university in order for me to secure their future. There were so many pains, being attacked by family members, again, losing my dad. There was so much pain and suffering within that. But it was the time where I was also doing a lot of inner work. And as I was doing the inner work, what I didn't realize, Noah, that I was masking a lot of the pain and trauma within. So you could imagine these 10 years, I had to go back in, listen, become aware of what is going on, allow that part of me to express and be very compassionate to it and love it, and ask it, what can I do to help you heal every single day? So there are, again, timelines in our lives, and the more deep work we do, the more layers we remove, the more we become aware, the more our consciousness elevates, and the more our frequency becomes higher in order for us, again, to be the leaders that we are, the more peace and love that we have for ourselves, more compassion, and for others.
Great answer, Sahar. We got to really dig deep inside of ourselves and go into that inner child. Let's talk a little bit about the inner child work that I've done a little bit with you as well. And that really is freeing. How important is it to go back and reconnect with your inner child? And how can it change your life?
Yes. One of the things that I've realized, Noah, is that it takes time for people to really do the inner work. Throughout these 15 years of helping thousands of people, and specifically those that I work privately with, what I've really noticed, that maybe about 20% may not be ready to go into that pain, because we all have our stories, right? And some stories, and not to justify, but some stories may be more painful for the individual to go in, specifically to abuse. That is really, really something that is just really hard to go. They need and require a lot of trust. So what I've realized, that if those of you who are out there and who have been victimized as a child, and who have, it was very harsh, just be gentle with yourself. And what I do is I gently and lovingly and with love and compassion bring that part to express itself again, to say what it needs to say, and not judge, and hold space for that part. And I do that for myself, to realize that every single one of us deserve the best love, deserve abundance, deserve wealth and health, deserve everything that we are here and guided to tap into, that infinite field of possibility. But unless we really tap into the inner child that perhaps doesn't feel I'm good enough, right? If you read behind me, I am enough, or that part that doesn't deserve the perfect love for them, or they don't deserve enough abundance, that part will continue to be in charge. They will continue to lead you. Speaking of leadership, they will continue to sabotage. They will continue to step in front of opportunities, block you from seeing things because it's running in the back. It is in operation. It is about fear, uncertainty. It hasn't been communicated with. It hasn't been told that they love them. One of the things that I did last night. So anywhere between 4 and 7, I used to love eating ice cream. The vanilla ice cream with chocolate covered. That was my favorite. And I recall one time my dad took me to a store and I said, Dad, I want to buy that chocolate covered ice cream. And at the time, they didn't have it. And I was so disappointed. And then so I created that I wasn't good enough to receive the covered chocolate. I mean, it's a silly story, but I'll tell you. And so when I was doing my inner work with her, she was telling me, I want vanilla chocolate because I deserve it. Right. So once in a while, I'll just go and buy the square vanilla plain chocolate. Now I found it dairy free with chocolate covered on it. And you have no idea how happy she is just doing little things with her to acknowledge that she is enough. She is lovable. I go to the beach and I splash in the water and I swim. Like I allow her inner child to come out and play. When we're hugging a tree, it's not just me, it's her and I. We're spending quality time together, becoming aware of your inner child and their trauma and hear them, not allowing them to be in charge of your life. It is key for those of us who are in the transformation world.
And what happens when your inner child leads your life? For so many of us, what
Oh
happens
my
in our
goodness.
lives? Do we make a lot of money or do we not? Like, what's the lack from being connected
Yeah,
to that?
yeah, yeah. So I want to go back to I'm not enough. That's huge. Right in the solar plexus, I see a lot of blockages when I do tune in and do energy clearing for people. And it's about I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable enough. And that's the part that allows you to stand in your self esteem. And you know already, Noah, that if we are not, when we don't have high self esteem and we don't have courage and we don't have a foundation of our values, who's going to work with us? Our frequency is going to be seen, that if there's any blockages, and also our root chakra, which is about security, safety, a flow of abundance, right? Connecting us to the root of who we are. If that is blocked, our frequency and our energy is going to really be the indicator that those who want to work with us may not hire us or may not pay us enough, because that's how we feel about ourselves. So, of course, there's going to be stagnations, there's going to be blockages, there's going to be uncertainties, and also value of who we are. A lot of times, we really require to be validated. In fact, I will be doing a 90-minute course just coming up soon, and it's about your gift is your validation. It is time for you to serve. Us humans, our personality always wanted to be validated because we don't feel good enough. We don't feel loved enough. We don't feel that we deserve enough. And that's what stands in our way.
Yes, I agree. And I wanted to ask you, what are the four archetypes that you talk about?
So during the time in which I was in my beautiful incubator in the East Bay, the Bay Area, the Northern California, I was given four kind of archetypes of people. Remember, I did 120 sessions, and I've noticed those who are light workers or spiritual seekers or on the path of evolution and growth, there were patterns that were coming up, and I really took notes. And there were four patterns that showed up regularly. It was the four archetypes that was later downloaded for me or channeled through me. The first one is the working hard leader, those who are constantly working one project into another, and they don't even pause enough to really like breathe, to have more focus about where they're heading, where they're going. I also saw them like literally on a pedestal with multiple hands, because I have a clairvoyant. So I saw that. The second one is the hidden leader, those who were hiding during the pandemic and they still are waiting for something to happen to say, oh, it's now time for me to go out again. Those who have not done deep work to release whatever trauma, whatever it is that's holding them back from moving forward to serving. And so those were hidden. So I saw them literally hiding behind different ways, different, it could be a door, it could be under the couch. I mean, I saw all kind of different images of where they were hiding. And the third archetype was the wise archetype, which they have their stuff together. You know, they're working, they're making income, life is good, but not excellent because they just are doing the things that they've been doing for a long time. It's like their plateau. Yet there is something more, something deeper within them that needs to be expressed. Perhaps they're coaches and they need to go out and speak or be on more social media. And so the wise leaders doing everything wisely, but yet they're not taking that next step. They're not up leveling their way of doing things on earth. And lastly, which was very rare that I saw, was the evolved leader. Those, when I tapped into their energy, I saw nothing but beauty and light. I literally saw a beautiful aura of light all around them. Those who are very aligned with their masculine and feminine, they have done the deep work. They know and they're aware of their existence here on earth. They know exactly when to balance life. They continue to evolve, they continue to grow, they continue to do the work that is necessary in order for them to fulfill their soul agreement of serving at this point. And so those were the four archetypes that showed up during my time.
How important is it to know where you are in the archetypes? Like where you are? Do you evolve through them to get to a new place?
That's a great question because after that, I asked and I said, okay, so I have these four archetypes. How can I support them? And what came through me was the alter process. And the alter process stands for ask, listen, take action. Uh, the last, take action, engage, and receive. And we break it down. But one of the most important things I want to tell you from the alter process, because it takes time for me to break it down. I have a whole workshop that I do about the alter is when I did this and I when I did the group coaching program online, what I noticed is people right away identify which archetype they are. And so when I began to do the alter process to support them, those who are hidden to get out, those who are working hard to be more balanced, those that are doing and wanting to step up and elevate. And of course, the evolved leader was always there to just hold space for us. But what I noticed is that there was a missing element from the alter process. You know, they all asked for what they wanted, they all listened divinely, you know, they all engaged and they took action, and then of course open to receiving. And when it came to the receiving part, that was the most challenging part for the top three. And I'll tell you why. We, us, those of us who are here again, who have committed to transformation, um, have a hard time receiving because we're constantly giving, right? We're serving, we're constantly finding ways to help and support. You know, on a given day, every single day of my life, I serve. And I'm not saying that from the ego that, oh, look at me. No, I'm talking about that's my soul's call. It could be a cousin calling me, could be a family, a friend, a neighbor, or somebody I ran into and that needs some guidance from me. I'm constantly serving. I'm not talking about just my clients that pay me. I'm talking about I always find ways to serve. Our spirit guides puts opportunities for me to always serve. And you know me, Noah. And of course, on Clubhouse every single Tuesday evening at 7 p.m., I'm constantly serving and helping and healing people. And I had to really look in and reflect what I've been doing based on the people that I'm supporting. And I realized is in this spaciousness of me serving, how am I being served? Think of that. That's a question I want to ask each and every one of you. In the space that you're serving, are you open to really receiving? And if so, how does it look like? And I've realized that, okay, I have those 5 to 6 people in my life that I'm constantly receiving from, whether I'm calling them and sharing what's happening in my life. That's really important. Whether I'm getting guided and coached by, because I have my own coaches too. and healers that I work with regularly, whether it is for me to receive from nature, again, going and grounding myself or going to the ocean, whether it is for me to receive fun. I have a friend that I've recently, we do nothing but fun because my inner child, that part of me that perhaps suppressed fun when I was growing up, needed to be expressed. So I want to invite each and every one of you to really look and calendar, where are you receiving? And it's not about just receiving money. Are you receiving services as you are serving? Are you receiving fun? Are you receiving a listening ear? Are you receiving compassion from your family, from your friend? Or are you constantly giving and giving and giving? You cannot complete the altar process without the receptivity. And so for me to dive even deeper, a new work was channeled for me, and it's about compassion to oneself. And so I began, before we even went to the receiving, I began to dig deep and to begin to work with my clients about the compassion within, again, for the inner child. It goes back then, in order for them to be open to receiving, because at the end, it's not just about receiving support, but also abundance as well.
Absolutely. So Sahar, I could talk to you all day, but I wanted to, see how can people connect with you and find you. I know it's important. You do such incredible work, and you've even helped me a lot in my life with your work. How can people find you and connect with you? And I know you love to work with leaders. So what are some things that you want to share?
So for those of you who would like to just, tap into your own knowingness and perhaps wanting to have a session with me, I'm happy to offer that to you. You could go to soulfulclearing.com, and just click there, and it'll give you the instructions. My calendar is there. You could schedule your session, and I'm here to serve. I'm here to support you on whatever it is that's happening in your life that you need more clarity of, especially those of you who are leaders and influencers and want clarity about the path that you have taken. So soulfulclearing.com would be the best. And please follow me on my Instagram. You could always learn all kind of tools about grounding and taking care of yourself and self-compassion. It's Sahar Nafar. At Sahar Nafar is my my handle for Instagram.
That's great. So, Sahar, it's been really enlightening to talk to you, and all your shares are just incredible. People are going to get so much out of listening to you, and I'm so excited we are connected as well. So, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for.
I have one more thing I'd
Yes,
like to
of
share. I
course.
wanted to end with all that's happening in the world. I would love to end with a beautiful short poem by Gandhi. Is that okay?
I would love that.
Yes. And here we go. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. May wisdom flows from the highest source. I salute the source in you. Let us work together for unity and peace. May your life be filled with the love and bliss that is always waiting for you within your souls, dear beautiful souls. Blessings to all.
Amen to that. Thank you so much, Sahar. So enjoyed having you on the podcast today. Thank you so much, Sahar Nafal, for empowering us and inspiring us to live more uplifting and joyful lives. So appreciate that today. Until next time, remember to have a grateful heart, to ground in love and compassion, and always know that you are being guided by God. Till then, my friends, take care of yourself and watch the miracles unfold in your life daily by being more present to every day and every moment. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Namaste.